Hi, hello. Um, Welcome to Culture Fix. Today, Nicole and Scotty are going to join us, and we're going to talk about navigating the music industry as working independent artists and what that looks like, and kind of some of the challenges that independent pop artists face. So let me get Nicole and Scotty in here. Hey, Haas, what's up? You guys, if you're ever interested in any kind of Arabic language, Middle Eastern hip hop, Big Haas is the guy. Hey, you guys.
Hi, how are you?
You guys, you're sideways. I don't know if you can.
Hold on a sec. We're on a tripod. Is that better?
So much better.
Okay, cool.
Great.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So I want to welcome you and everyone else to Culture Fix. Culture Fix is a global network of artists and creatives and entrepreneurs around the world who are using their platform for social good, both in terms of output, but also in terms of process. And we connect people all around the world together. We highlight dope people who are doing dope shit. So as people are coming in, please feel free to introduce yourselves. If you have questions for Nicole and Scotty, please share it in the comments. This is going to be as interactive conversationally as we can manage. Also, my puppy is running around, and so if you hear barking and snoring, it's not me. It's the puppy that wants attention.
We just adopted a 5-month-old husky, so she's running around herself here.
Oh my God, so cute. We can have play dates.
Yes, we have to. That's a must.
So for folks who don't know me, my name is Nora Rahimian. I'm a creative consultant, and basically I help artists and creative people around the world find success without giving up their creative control or personal integrity. So really how to navigate the music industry on your own terms. I met Nicole and Scotty back when I was curating conversations for Women Crush Music, and they performed at the showcase, and I was like, oh my God, they're dope. Side note, I no longer work with Women Crush Music because the venue that they were doing those shows at had a no hip hop policy.
Yeah.
Which is racist as fuck. So that no longer happens.
Basically, right? I know we don't perform there very often either anymore.
Right.
Yeah. But you guys, I thought we'd start just if you could introduce yourselves and tell folks a little bit about who you are and what you do.
Yeah, for sure. So we're Nicole and Scotty, a sibling pop music duo. We've been working in the industry for about 6 years now, and we've remained independent throughout. It's been a roller coaster. We've got some good highs and some low lows, but overall we're having a good time releasing original music. Scotty's an audio engineer and I'm a producer. We both songwrite, I sing, he plays 8 instruments, and that's basically the gist of it.
How long have you guys been working? I know you're like siblings. Have you always worked together?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think so. We've always been really tight. We're like the dorky siblings that do everything together, like anywhere I go, he goes, and vice versa. So people ask us a lot, like, oh, do you guys fight like before shows? And we're like, no, we don't do that. We're very close, and I think we work better together than separately. Like wherever I leave off, he picks up, and vice versa.
Cool.
So yeah.
One of the things I always tell people about you guys is that you're a very values-led duo. As
Oh, thank you.
as I think as individuals, but also Nicole and Scotty as an entity is very values-led. And I'm curious what that's been like for you to navigate the industry as independents with values, and what the challenges of that have been.
Yeah, I mean, we've encountered a lot of strange prejudices against us, I guess. When we were starting out, we were 12 and 16, so we had a lot of ageism going on in the beginning. And a lot of opportunities we had to miss out on because people assumed that because of our age we're not professional enough for them. And then moving forward, finally, as we got older, we started gaining more respect, and people realized that we were good at what we were doing. So that was like the first hurdle that we went over. But yeah, we're all inclusive. We're both intersectional feminists. Uh, Anybody who's anybody is welcome. You know, we have a very open environment and we love our fan base and we try to communicate with them as much as possible. And a lot of the inner industry has had a lot to say about that. When we worked with management a couple of years ago, they were not cool with how open we were and how inclusive, and were trying to impose their own values on us, and that's not our vibe, so we had to part ways. I think you come across a lot of resistance when you try to lead like by the example of opening up to people, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. What was there outlet, right? How do I say this? The resistance that you got from the industry, was it outright like no, or did you find that it was kind of more subtle attempts to coerce you into a different direction?
It was a little bit of both, depending on the situation. The subtle attempts are like I've been able to pick up on them a lot easier than when somebody's just blatantly like, no, that's not what you're doing, because then my instinct is to kind of argue it and be like, well, why? This is why this would be productive, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the subtle attempts are sneaky.
I think one of the things that I hear a lot from artists that I work with is there's like this fear of saying no. Because if you say no, then they're never going to work with you, or you're never, like, it's this kind of like all or nothing, which isn't true. And
Right.
I think that the more you stick up for yourself and your values, the more you find the place for yourself in the industry, the more fans come to you. But
Right.
how did you get to that point where you felt comfortable enough to say, we're not aligned, you're not, like, where did that come from for you guys?
Being pushed too far, like being turned down constantly when we had ideas to be like more expressive on what we believe, like politics, for instance. And it's like when we met that resistance, like, no, you can't be open about your beliefs and what you support. You have to focus on the music. Then we both were like, okay, no, music is bigger. Us as artists, we're representing more than just the songs we write, you know?
Mm-hmm.
That was when we were kind of like, okay, not cool.
Those were like hardline deal breakers for you.
Absolutely.
Right.
How
Yeah.
do you, because I heard you say you're both intersectional feminists, like, how do you pass that on to your fans, or how do you hold your fans accountable? Because I mean, I've seen your Instagram has like a crazy number of followers, so I imagine you get like a crazy number of comments. How do you hold them accountable to the same values? Like, how do you curate their, not saying like how do you control their behavior, but how do you make sure that they're representative of who Nicole and Scotty are in terms of that?
That's a really good question. And I want to say we've never really come across like bullying in our comment sections, thankfully. We've gotten the occasional, why are you talking about this? Or, hey, just a friendly reminder that you guys are musicians, so maybe stay out of that. And we usually just kind of compare notes and go, okay, and then this is what we're going to say. And we comment back and go, you know, we're expressing our beliefs. We have our, you know, it's our platform. We have the freedom to say whatever we want. And if you don't like it, that's cool, but we're not going to censor ourselves, you know.
Is that something you guys as a duo have been aligned on from the beginning?
100%.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
100%.
And where did that come from for you to make that? Like, is it something you grew up with or grew into? Yeah.
Grew up with, absolutely. Our mom is awesome and raised us to love everybody. So that's, shout out to our mom.
Shout out to mom.
Mhm.
So one of the things that I think started this conversation between us was that roster article.
Yes. Yeah.
And if folks haven't seen it, it's the Coachella lineup based on the talent agencies that do the booking. And so it's basically like, it's William Morris, it's Paradigm, and I can't remember. It's like 3 major talent agencies that book all of Coachella, basically. What I think was interesting is stuff like that kind of reveals the secret or makes transparent the way that the industry works.
Absolutely.
A lot of people think like you just apply to, Ursula is the bomb.com, y'all, says Katie.
I love you, Katie.
Is Ursula mom?
Yeah, that's our mom.
That's super cute.
Love it.
Now I'm like thinking about your mom because I've met her. Your mom is dope.
Oh, thank you.
But stuff like that roster piece makes transparent the idea of you don't just like apply and get on festivals because of merit, but there's a lot of other kind of things that we don't really talk about in mainstream music.
100%.
Yeah.
And that people don't see. And if you're in, you then as an artist, you go into it expecting one thing and then realizing it's another thing.
Yeah.
And so I'm curious, like, what in your experience have been some of those things that have surprised you about how the industry like really works versus how you thought it works?
Right. I think there's an illusion that independent artists are kind of like it's projected on all of us that if you work hard enough, all of these opportunities will be opened up to you. And that's not always the case because a lot of it has to do with who you know and who you're connecting with and what relationships you're building with the major agencies that control all of, they pull from the festival pool off their rosters. It's not as free as people think it is. So I think that was the first big aha moment that we had when we realized you can't submit to all of these festivals no matter how hard you work if you don't have the relationships that are required to get in. You're not going to play Coachella. And it has nothing to do with work ethic and how hard you're pushing yourself and what your music is. It has to do a lot of times with who are you getting your music in front of that can carry you further into the inner industry.
Mm-hmm. That's a good way of putting it, Nicole, because it's like industry and then there's like layers and there's like an inner industry.
Right.
And I think what you bring up too is like how important it is not to compare yourself or your journey to others.
Absolutely.
You never know who's actually backing an artist.
For sure.
Because sometimes independent is like a marketing scheme and they're not actually independent.
No, we all know those artists that kind of trump it up and blast out that they're independent and nobody's telling them what to do. And then you do a little research and you see everybody who's working behind them. And it's like, it's not 100% indie. You're not being completely honest with your audience. So, yeah.
I think there's something like romantic around the idea of independent artists being successful. Like fans like that narrative. And so
totally.
I think that's the other part of it. You guys do a lot of festivals though. So what has been effective for you? And, for like people who are watching and curious about getting on stage or performing, what has been effective for you in booking shows?
Absolutely. Honestly, just connecting with your other fellow artists. Like there's another unhealthy illusion around the indie community that you have to gun ahead and you have to compete with everybody and everybody's viewed as your competition. It's totally the opposite. You have to make friends, not enemies. You have to support each other's work because we all make it or none of us make it, and that's our motto. So I think making friends with other bands and acts has been super beneficial, not just because we've found people to relate to in the industry and connect with, but also we can exchange like, hey, have you ever heard of this festival? Or, oh, I've got this radio connection that I met online, and just a lot of like online networking. That's been the most effective. I mean, when we first started out, I was spending like 3 hours a day online, just, researching and making connections and submitting. And then once you hit something with a submission, then you build a relationship with that talent buyer or that radio host, and then you ask for recommendations to others. So it's just, you've got to put yourself out there 100%.
Yeah, I mean, I 100% agree. It's like, you're not in competition. Collaboration actually allows everybody to win.
Absolutely.
And you can share resources, but it's also, this network of being like, hey, have you ever had a sketchy experience with this promoter? Have you ever had, it's also a way I think artists can kind of protect themselves from some of the sketchier stuff that happens in the industry.
Totally.
I just want to say what's up. Steely One is another independent artist. What's up, Steely? Natalie Crew, who's my partner at Culture Fix. What's up, Natalie? As folks are joining us, hi, hello, and welcome. We're here with Nicole and Scotty. If you have questions, feel free to share them. I think we did get a question. I've also gotten a shit spam, which is bugging me. I don't know why Instagram is like this, but this is
That's okay.
Katie Consolo asks, when is Drama coming out?
Oh, dang. Probably in the next couple of months. We're finishing promo on our last single, Sweet and Sour. We're rolling out a lyric video hopefully next week, and then a music video shortly after. And then once we wrap up, Drama is the next single.
Yeah. Is there any kind of final words of advice that you would want to share with other artists, other independent artists?
Yes. Don't give up. Don't let anybody talk you out of pursuing what you want to do. Consistency is key. Just keep going. Even if it feels like you're running around in circles, just, rinse, wash, repeat, the whole thing. You have to keep releasing music, connecting with your fans, and submitting to everything you can possibly submit to: radio, television spots, festivals, theater venues, just everything you can think of. Make a list. I've got a monster-sized to-do list every month, and I section it out into, visual appearances or shows, festivals, whatever. Just keep going. Seriously, that's key.
One of the things you touch on too is like, you guys are artists and you create, right? But you're also hella organized in the administrative, right? Like you're talking about spreadsheets and the proactive part of building relationships. And I think that's the part a lot of neglect.
Right.
Creation is important, but also how are you going to handle the business part? Deverio asks, what's the smartest way to build relationships with venues in order to perform?
That's a great question. When you submit, have a really clear, concise press kit. It can't be too short, it can't be too brief, it can't be too monstrously huge. What we have is like a short bio as our cover letter. Personalize your emails and say, oh, we've wanted to perform at X venue for the longest time. A lot of our heroes have performed here, and here are our qualifications. Once you perform, meet everybody. Meet security, meet your sound guys, meet your promoter, meet whoever booked you there. Just be super personal and friendly, and guaranteed way to start a good relationship.
And I would add, like, you can do that even if you're like out at the club enjoying yourself one night.
Oh yeah,
and it's
absolutely.
Make a connection with the bartender, make a connection with the bar manager, make a connection with the security, like those kinds of personal touches. Then when you send that email, they are a perception of you.
Exactly.
You guys, Nicole and Scotty, I really want to thank you for taking the time out to have this conversation with us.
Thank you for having us.
Definitely, there's drama's coming out in next month, couple weeks. But they're good people doing really good work. We're doing a bunch of these Culture Fix interviews, so stay tuned for more on that. And then if anyone's interested in learning how to become better negotiators, Cynthia Pong and I are teaching a negotiation webinar tomorrow night, Monday night. So that every time someone tells you, do it for the exposure, you can take that exposure into the kind of resources and compensation that you deserve. So thank you, everyone. Have a great day. Be good to each other, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you so much, Nora. You're the best.
Thanks, you guys. You guys are awesome.
Thanks. Bye.